DPM Lawrence Wong just announced that he wants Singaporeans to take part in coming up with ideas for the Singapore's future roadmaps. So by looking at what was proposed, I thought it looked a bit familiar. What do you think?
I think we had the whole Remaking Singapore action plan last time. I think Heng Swee Keat was doing it. And at that time, they were saying, hey, we're still using the same model. And I think it's still the same model. Although he announced 6 pillars and during his speech, DPM Wong also did talk about certain issues like the increasing income gap between the haves and the haves-not. So I think he identified key issues. But surprisingly, the pillars are very similar, like what you said. I'm not too sure whether they are going to break down further within each pillar. But yeah, we have 6 pillars and happy that they are asking for our views. Now it's how are we going to give it to them, provide our feedback, and what will they do with it. We can only see.
The 6 pillars are there. I mean, it is since Heng Swee Keat's time. If it's not broken, then why fix it?
Even Lee Kuan Yew's time.
So if you move back, right, it may apply to the LKY generation. Then would it apply to our future generation? Does it apply to us who's moving forward, bearing the future generations of Singapore? So do they foresee 50 years' time, the kind of changes that we will go through, or just glide through of what we have and cross the bridge when we get there? So this is something which we do not have. I mean, as much as I like DPM Wong, but I think to have someone who give us an insight about the prospective future is something that I look forward to, but I did not get to see it here.
I think they're not done yet. They have a year-long meeting, year-long discussion. But I think ultimately, my fear is there'll be so many ideas, so many suggestions, but what's going to happen? You know, I don't know. It's like getting married. No, you look at all the outfits. The more options you have, you can't decide. You know, so maybe perhaps there should be one key goal, and then will guide the conversation. So I think that's where 4G leaders will have to say, this is the leadership. Because the title that they announced was to refresh, to relook at the social compact. I think we need a goal. You know, what is the end goal of the social compact we're hoping to achieve? I personally, I'm looking at the fabric, who we are as communities, helping each other, the Singaporean identity. So I think we need a goal. Then it's easier to channel the direction. And as the future Prime Minister who's leading Singapore, I think he can set that goal and then everyone builds towards it.
So can I take a step forward and go like, why don't he mention there will be Vision 2080, Vision 2050? Then we know by 2050 we will achieve this kind of landmark or this kind of milestones. Then it's easy for us to follow through. But right now it's just like, okay, break into portions and let's see how we can better our lives here. He did mention about a Singapore identity. Question would be, have we lost it? Or do we even have it? If we want to have a Singapore identity, what would it be like?
Okay lah, Singlish lah. That's our identity.
You mean
No,
language?
but then if you look at our identity cards, there's still that Chinese, Malay, Indian. Why can't we have Singaporean? You know, rather than divide us in races. And now, I guess the new version would be Indian Chinese, Malay Chinese. You know, there's the hyphenated. You have a choice.
If you look into our counterparts in ASEAN itself, they only have one race. They only have one name, one common national name. And that it brings a sense of identity to the people itself. If I were to go to Thailand, everybody is a Thai.
But surely there is a reason that we have this categorization. I mean, I think there are laws, and he did announce laws such that DPM Wong did recently, I think at the announcement say that, hey, they're looking to enact laws that, hey, prohibits you from being discriminatory when you hire and stuff like that. So keeping this categorization is purely administrative, or do you guys strongly feel that?
But if you don't want to discriminate people, then why have, you see? If we are all Singaporeans, then there is no discrimination.
And so
like
based
you
on
hire a Singaporean.
Yeah. So we are not discriminated lah, but I think we are compartmentalized in the best manner. Like, oh, this is my Chinese friend, this is my Indian friend, this is my Malay friend, these are all my friends, without looking at the race or gender one. And if you look into a Singapore identity, if they were given an opportunity to market a Singaporean overseas, how would they market that man? How do you market a Singaporean? Under his qualification, if you look into India, it's IT. If you look into the Philippines, then it will be the service industry, right? So what are we? What do we have that we can offer the world as a part of a global citizen? You want to come to Singapore? Okay, this is what Singapore is like, because the people are united, as in there's only one particular person, one particular description of a Singaporean. So that's what I think when they talk about having one identity. What would that identity be?
Yeah,
so we all can relate that to.
For Thais, it's like the land of smiles. So is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
What describes What describes Singapore or a Singaporean?
Both. It's like, oh, you're not part of China, right? Are you part of China?
It used to be Singapore Inc. Singapore is run like a business. It is perhaps seen as the Matrix, because I have overseas friends coming here, and they go, "Oh my God, this is the Matrix of the world," because everything is so compact, everything is so high tech, so they call us the Matrix.
Interesting.
But what about the people in the Matrix? Who are we?
So talking about the people in the Matrix, if this is going to be the prospective future of Singapore, right? Would Singaporean comes first? If you look into all first world countries, oh yeah, you come first. You nothing else. Whether healthcare, education, opportunities for education, or for healthcare, or for well-being, is like happy living. Singaporeans should come first. Native Singaporeans.
I think we had this discussion many times. Do we benefit in being a Singaporean? And I noticed lately, we had the pioneer generation. We do have schemes, but they only came out recently. And the schemes are very much for the older Singaporeans. So can we have one for Singaporeans, the youngest, the growing up, the middle income, whichever. And I think that will really build us and unite us as a nation, rather than just recognizing the Merdeka, the pioneer generation. And can we go away from GST vouchers, hands out? I mean, Singapore Inc. I still believe in the Singapore Inc. The brand is very strong. So can we make money and then give it back to the citizens, or let the citizens have a subsidized livelihood living? We talked about the cost of the COE now. It's ordinary Singaporeans cannot afford it.
Don't talk about the cars lah. I think it's a luxury. Let's talk about our own homes, our HDB flats. I pray we will never reach Hong Kong standard of the space that we're going to live in, or the matchbox standard of Japan, in parts of Japan, we used to have decent houses. We used to have spaces in between houses. And when you compare these old houses and the new ones, it's cheaper, it has more space. When you talk about the living environment, can that be changed? Or is still a business than one for when you talk about home and living environment, can we really own our own home with a strata title? Like, this is ours. This is mine. We don't own it, right?
The problem is our homes are put on the market value. We let market value drive the values of our homes, even if it's HDB flats. But what I don't understand is, why are they also pegging the first BTOs? The first time someone applies for HDB housing, why is that house or that flat pegged to market forces? Shouldn't it be like, okay, it's subsidized, everything is a certain amount, and only after you've lived in it for an amount of time, then market forces set in.
So currently now it's market price.
It's
Like,
high. BTOs are very expensive.
Okay.
Because there are speculations, and who allowed speculations to happen? Of course, there are cooling measures, right? So if the government took part in the cooling measures by gripping it, but who allowed speculations in the first place? It's public housing, right? So it has been very, very costly. So how do we live? How do you want to have a place where we can live happily? Right? That's something that we can actually sit down and discuss. And how do we own part of Singapore? Not everybody can own a private house, with their own deeds.
I mean, I see the government as trying to make and keep Singapore competitive. So I mean, the first one is empower, economy and jobs. But I don't know. Sometimes you look at the Middle East, the oil companies. There is no income tax. There is even subsidies given to the people. They look after the people very, very well. So that's because they have oil. But can we find a similar comparison? We have manpower. We have innovation. Can we find an equivalent and generate the necessary income that we can subsidize? I think, yes, there's always a concern that, the generations that come after this will be, no, I got money, I got pocket money given by the government, I need to work hard. That might happen, but if we continue in other ways to build resilience, innovation, creativity, but find a way to reduce our everyday costs, be it transport, we make money somewhere else to subsidize, and make it clear and educate the next generation. Hey guys, you are getting a subsidized living because we're earning money to cover the actual costs. If that can happen, I think we all be very happy,
Well, that's very ideal, but this is not the sound of music.
I know, but I don't see anyone even suggesting and trying it out, we have to try, and that should be, one way, because yes, we are charging everyone, we are paying our ERPs, we as citizens are being taxed to live here in Singapore. The money goes back, but can we use that money in the same vein as investments? Yeah, we invest and we get money which goes back to subsidize our overall cost. Yes, GST is coming. We all know that price will always go up. So let me take a step back. Let's not even look at earning money from investments to subsidize costs. Food, if we grow our own food, if we now look at, the price of cars are going up, electricity is going up. So I think that's where we are already moving towards investing in renewables to reduce the cost. So now with technology, there is a way to reduce costs. Can we do that more? Because if we go with the current model, price will just keep going up. And what's going to happen? Ordinary Singaporeans must earn more money. Those that can't earn more money will be left behind, and then will be left to taking handouts, subsidies, or you have to eat less. You don't get a higher handphone. I mean, that's normal, traditional. 50 years ago, we have no vision or no ability to look at, hey, how can technology change our lives? But I think now we can. Now we can dream, and that's the Singapore dream. I think. I hope we can look towards. Yes, I know I'm very idealistic. That's me, but we have seen how technology has changed people's lives. The disabled can communicate, through WhatsApp, through the voice, video, you sign. So can we find a way to, one of the most important pillars, reduce our cost of living? And I think that will free us up from worries, so that we can do creative things, and focus on being happy, being Singaporean, helping people around us.
The other thing is, I'm just looking at the description of empower economy and jobs. It says to empower every Singaporean to have lifelong employability in a more competitive economy. And you just wonder, did someone forget to tell the employers about this? Because once when you become 48, 49, 45, once you turn 45, once you lose your job, no one's going to rehire you. So has someone actually forgot to tell the employers?
Oh, this is just ideal on paper. We should speak to those who find it tough to penetrate the market because they are not young anymore. So that's one. But I think in order to get better jobs, longer staying jobs, better pay, it boils down back to education. Should education be as good and as affordable as our counterparts, right? If you look into the world citizenship, right, people are getting education overseas in their own countries with less than a quarter of what we have to pay, right? Get their degree, then get their masters, get done, then they have found an equivalent master's or degree or PhD. Then they come back here as an academic, right? As a world citizen. For us to go through that path, we would have to sell a kidney or a left foot, or at least it's not. I didn't meant it to be such a way, but it's so expensive. If like you have 4 kids, and if all goes through,
but our education is subsidized, right?
Heavily subsidized,
yeah.
Even in universities.
Yes.
Is it still affordable?
Local universities.
But if you go overseas, then but we understand.
It is still expensive.
It's still expensive
Compared to the rest of the counterparts in ASEAN. It's still expensive. We still have to pay, yes, but how to make it affordable? I'm not asking for free education. I'm asking to make it affordable so we can have the rights for better education, so we can compete better at par with the rest of the world citizens. If I were to export you today to New York, they say, I take you because you're a Singaporean export. Anytime. So that's what I think we should plan for. If you're educated in Singapore, anyone will take you in.
I think that's a good suggestion. In a competitive world, our branding is very important.
Yes.
And we can't brand ourselves. We can at the individual level, but it would be a much stronger brand from a national nation level.
So I think education will lead to a better job. Better job will have better living conditions. Then you have a better competitive edge. Then you are not just competing against the locals, but the world is your platform. Like how everybody else come to Singapore to work here and do good. We also want to work here and do good and see ourselves as one of the better exports in comparison to all those talents we have in the world market.
See, but the government has been telling Singaporeans lifelong learning, keep at it, they have all this skills future. Has it made an impact? So we're looking at, okay, sorry, let me just backtrack. We are encouraging older Singaporeans to upgrade, to upskill, and younger kids. Can it be done younger? Can we get this upskilling or equip our younger generation? Okay, I mean, our kids in school now, their maths problems are like damn team lah. You know, do we want to expose them to different things without adding the stress? Okay, I know a lot of people start talking about the stress, but we keep hearing this lifelong learning, upgrading, skills upgrading. I mean, it's being shoved down our throats. Is it working? I do not know. Are Singaporeans upgrading themselves? I think they are.
They are.
They are. But is there any other way?
Then I need to ask this. Everyone's upgrading, but no one knows how to fix a leaky pipe. If the bulb blows, it's like, change the bulb. No one seems to know. It's like when the pipe bursts and there's a flooding of the whole kitchen. You try calling the plumber. There's only a handful in Singapore, and they charge $180 just to come and look at the situation. And the very next day, when they send someone over, it's another $300 because they know they are specialists. Now, if you know how to do these things, which I'm sure the guys from 65 upwards knew how to do it when they were much younger, they didn't have to call in the electrician or the plumber.
Basic life skills lah.
Yes, a lot of the younger generation, they really don't know how to do this.
So are you saying that part of the 4G leadership plan now, or DPM Wong's, hopefully he'll announce his goal, is also to build this individual character? So there's so much things to do. That it needs to build the individual. We need to build communities. We need to fix this, fix that. Be competitive in the world.
I mean,
are we ready? Do we have that talent?
a good leader will be able to drive people towards that. So is he ready? So that should be the question also, right?
He and his team. It's not him alone.
We would always want to follow a good leader because we know that they will think for us first. They will lead the way. We just go through and we will support him. But is he ready for us and our newly set demands? So he needs to look into all that. I mean, with power, it comes also with responsibility, right?
I like the way you say our demands.
I mean, we all have demands and desires. We have our ideals. We want Singapore to be like this. We want more money. We want this and that. But to get into that circle, to move out or to break that ceiling, you need certain push. How to get there? How to go out and how to be better, right? We still need a holding hand.
I think the aspirations of Singaporeans have risen quite significantly. Part and parcel of our exposure to the world, social media, there's just so much more information, and I think the government should already know this and recognize the challenge. But these pillars are the same.
I find it the same template as Mr. Lee Kuan Yew's.
Yeah.
If it's not broken, why fix it, Kevin? Judith?
It's still like, who moved my cheese? You need to move before your cheese run out.
You have to move the cheese.
And we have Vision 2030 for sports. We have different visions or blueprints and plans for different aspects of Singaporean or society. We need a Singapore vision, but we haven't heard of it. Maybe it might come out after this 1 year, but we need him to set the goal, and then we all charge behind him, supporting him and his team to get that goal. But we need to see that goal.
If I can summarize, I mean, we have SG50, what we have done for the past 50 years, but what's next in the next 50 years? If you give us a leeway to see, that should be our goal. We may not achieve it in 50 years, but maybe 52, 55, 60, but we are moving towards that direction as a team. Then it makes more sense for us to believe in you.
Let me throw a spanner in the works, okay? We had a vision for our football team, 2010, to bring it to the World Cup. Everyone's working towards that. Question now is, what happened? Where is World Cup Singapore? What happened? There was a vision, didn't come through.
I mean, a vision, as we know, is a goal lah. Something to work towards. I mean, if you get it, that is the ideal lah. But I think with any vision, then you see movement. Hopefully, and I believe there was some growth in football.
Let's not talk about football. If let's say you are an individual and I want to give you Vision 2030, by 2030 you will be the first person to fly to the moon, Singapore, right? A Singaporean. If I plunk in all my resources, put you in the right environment, I invest the money and the education in you, you will go to the moon if I want it, right?
Definitely.
So we can go to the World Cup if you just supercharge all those resources there. The training has to be of a world-class standard, not of a local standard. You have to have technological transfers on how football needs to be played. You need to put them on overseas stints to see how people play before you can reach that world standard, like that.
Then
So it can happen if you want.
I think we all want Singapore to succeed, but it always boils down to the individual, you know. So we may have all the grand plans, we have the plans for the football and all, but if the Singaporean player is not professional, doesn't work hard, only wants the money, only wants to be paid a professional salary, but does not want to live a professional lifestyle, it means no char kway teow, no smoking, no late nights. With all the support that's given to him, the investment, he will never make it. You know, so you brought up a very good point. We can succeed, and the government directed, the government invested resources to achieve whatever goal, whatever vision. We will succeed. But then now it's you and me, no? We as Singaporeans, are we going to be behind that plan and work towards that plan? And I would suggest it boils down to ownership and whether we understand the vision.
So everything comes with a sacrifice, right? Now, if you give, we have about 6 million or 8 million now. If you we have 8 people that we are going to groom to become the super Singaporeans. Don't you think they wouldn't want to be the superstars? I think they would want, but it has to come with sacrifice and discipline. You need to pick the right ones. That's it. I think it can happen. If they want to say football World Cup, it can happen. Tennis world champion, it can happen.
Yeah. So I think this forward Singapore has to be very different. It has to be, hey, you want, you join me, we work together. So there must be an empowerment. But with empowerment, there must be a certain benefit. You know, so say, okay, Singaporeans, in 2030, we will cut the cost of your living. Our goal is to cut it by 30%. Then how are you going to do it? What are we going to do? Green technology. We need you to upskill so that we can have tech expertise in developing solar panel. I mean, whatever it is. Then it's a joint partnership. The government supports you. Yeah, I want the 30% discount in my. Then we can really rally the Singaporean. But now, Singaporeans has always been government. Your job. I wait for you. You give me. You know. Yeah. It's that mindset. So I think that whole again. I always go back to that fabric has to really change.
Let me extend. The things you just said. It's all good. It's all nice and sweet. But I would join you if I like you. I would join you if I believe in you. So that's the first step. The government needs to regain trust. We need to believe in the vision. We need to believe in the person. We need to believe in the objectives. Right? It is not like take this and go. No.
It shouldn't be we know best. No, because then there's no ownership. You know best, you run out, you do yourself.
I would join a leader if I believe in him and if I like him enough. And I'm like, oh yes, then I will support him. So then you can have that relationship and that cohesion for the vision. Then that should not be of a problem. If now go like, yeah lah, you do lah. You earn so much money, then we just sweet lah. And then the day also you tax us lah. But if it's going to be expensive, but I believe that you are going to do this for the good for so many people, say then why not? Let's believe in that notion. So it is about strengthening the relationship which they already have with Singaporeans and make it believable, and don't see us every 4 years, see us when
Every day.
But how do we see you? How do you be familiar with us? So that's something that you need to think about. How do you touch my heart so I can believe in you?
So do you want to participate?
Of course.
So there is actually a link, all right, and it links you to this website called www.sg/Singapore. Okay, so it's quite interesting. I mean, they have a whole website. We're all ready to engage Singaporeans. So we would like to invite you to share with us your ideas, feedback, and suggestions for Forward Singapore. Click here. Okay, I click here. Then I went to this place. Choose your passion. So, guys, choose your passion, where you are passionate, where you have experience, where you can contribute. Okay, I clicked on champion the cause for low-wage workers. So they go, okay, like-minded. Who is coordinating this discussion? Alliance for Action, lower wage workers. They give you meetings, so you can actually join the meeting. You can, as Singaporeans, you can participate. 16 April 2022 to 30th June.
That's tomorrow.
But DPM Wong only spoke about it yesterday.
Yes.
Something's not right. So I think the idea of wanting to engage Singaporeans is correct, but when
the execution is
wrong.
Yes.
So hopefully someone can look at this and know that I want to contribute, but I only have to tomorrow to quickly contact them, go down.
It's not as easy as what we thought, even though it's just a link, right? Yeah.
So I don't envy the government of being in their shoes, because we are in a very scary world. Yeah. Everything is changing. So they must really pull a rabbit or a merlion out of the hat to make Singapore successful, and we have an SG 100.
I pray that they will do best for all of us. I pray they do best for themselves. If they do a good job, they deserve the good pay, but they need to make sure that we need to believe in them. They need to work a little bit harder for us to be with them. Yeah.
I guess magicians pull rabbits out of their hats, and working for the government, you would probably have to pull miracles out of yours. On that note.